Welcome everyone to a video on how to install rocker panel stripes. I'm going to be installing this on a 1990 Mustang GT. Some of you may have seen the video where I installed GT500 racing stripes. This is going to be very similar to that process. I'm going to be using the dry method, so no soap, just a lot of tape, precision measuring, and just steady work. I got this kit from AmericanMuscle.com. They sent along a squeegee, some instructions, which do have the soap method on them, and also the graphic itself. And what you might be saying to yourself is, well, shouldn't you have two? No, this gets cut right in the middle, all the way down the entire length, and this gives you your driver and passenger side. So come with me as I install this on the car. Again, some things you'll need are some isopropyl alcohol. That's to clean any wax that you might have on your car. Also some good painter's tape, an X-Acto knife. I like this fabric measuring tape, so the metal type that you would otherwise have, is not going to scratch your paint. Plus, this goes down contours really well, so helps you measure easier. Also a microfiber towel, and just a bit of patience. Always make sure your car's clean before you start this. I'll see you where we pick up. Alright guys and girl who's watching, I'm going to show you what I've done for prep. What I've done is take some tape and stuck it up on the rocker trim. That way I'm not reaching for tape and trying to tear some off when I'm measuring and trying to get things all stuck up. So how I'm going to approach this is 3 separate pieces. I'm going to do one piece right here, a big long piece right here, and then do a separate one over there. I've seen some instances where people take and they go the entire length of this and just try to do it in all one shot. I'm not going to do that. I think that looks harder, quite honestly, and you can get the same look when you separate them because we're going to have to make cuts anyway that obviously go right here for the doors. These pieces right here are going to have to get cut. So, and obviously over here needs to be cut too. So you might as well just do it in 3 separate pieces. And once you lay down this middle piece, it's going to be really easy to get the other 3 pieces. So I'm going to make life a little bit easier and do it that way. And as far as measurements go, probably going to want to aim for the middle ground right here, the center of this. This from here to here is about 6.5 inches. So try to go 3 1/4. I've found that measuring down about an inch and 9/16 from here gives me a good spot to go off of for putting the top of this graphic right at 1 inch and 9/16, and then it's pretty centered on the rocker here. So I'm gonna get this all taped up and show you what that looks like before I lay it down. But just make sure that you're keeping it straight and you're not afraid to just tear it all down if it starts to get off, because if you let that happen, it's just going to reverberate as you go. So don't be afraid to discard all the work you've done. Take it down, because you're not going to be able to fix it. Okay, time to get started sticking this thing on. I went ahead and measured, remeasured, made sure everything was right. Got it all centered up right here, so it looks good. And I just stuck tape all the way down it to obviously situate it correctly, so I have a good idea of what it's going to look like when it's all on. And I went and did a hinge right here with the understanding that I'm going to untape this section, squeegee it down, then pull the hinge off, untape this, pull the backing off, and squeegee that down. And I'll probably take a break in between just because once I get this on, I want to make sure it's good. So anyway, we're going to get started with that. I think what I'm going to do too is take a piece of tape and kind of loosely fit it right here. That way I don't have the graphic just kind of, I don't have to hold it, and I can go in with my tape measure and measure as I'm squeegeeing it down and making sure I'm still on line. So that all looks pretty good, pretty straight. So I'm just going to get started with this section right here. And just do a little bit and take a measurement. And make sure that I am where I want to be. Because this beginning section determines the rest of the way the graphic looks. So you want to make sure that your beginning is absolutely where you want it. Okay, that's perfect. I'm going to keep going more. Okay, and that's that piece. Went on really well. That's going to look good when I take the backing off. So we can move over to this section, and the camera might run out. So if it abruptly stops, that's why. But this section, I mean, this whole section is going to be determined by this section too. I mean, I could bend it up slightly on this end, but I won't have to. I mean, I measured everything pretty good, so I'm not really worried about it not conforming to my measurements I made earlier. So yeah, that's great. That's what I want. So go ahead and pull this hinge. Alright, so my camera died. Well, the memory filled to capacity, so I went ahead and cleared it. We're going to just continue taking the backing off and getting this graphic stuck down. And this is it. You know, you can see it's lined up real well. Followed a pretty straight path, and we got it nice and centered. So the next steps will be applying it to the graphics, the ground effects. So I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. I didn't end up doing a video on the ground effects installation because it's so much like the door on the the rocker panel. It's just not worth putting up. So I've just followed the same procedure, just measuring good and making sure everything's lined up really well. Sorry about the low light, but all looks really good, turned out really well, and it's just a subtle change to this otherwise blacked out paint job. So I just did that, and obviously got the GT500 stripe up here, and I did it all using the dry method, no soap at all. And it turned out really well, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm glad I did it. And for $200 you can make a pretty significant change to your car. And as long as you got the time and the patience, you can make it look just like a shop did it. So good luck if you try this yourself, and I'm off to the car show.